Puffy Combs and Jennifer Lopez, probably one of the most glamorous couples just in history.
Sean Combs and his girlfriend Jennifer Lopez left the scene of the shooting. They were arrested a short time later when a handgun was recovered from their vehicle.
He has people followed, he has people watched, he does all kinds of he's a piece of shit.
Jennifer, she's definitely a bad chick, but I was still in love with Kim, you know what I'm saying? So I couldn't marry Jennifer, but I was still in love with Kim.
Jennifer Lopez is one of the lucky celebrities to successfully escape Diddy, but she did not go unscathed from their relationship. J-Lo felt manipulated and controlled by Diddy. He constantly degraded her and tried to keep her under his watch. Over time, J-Lo couldn't handle the cheating and the violence, and eventually she left him for good. So let's get into it. Recently, we've learned a lot about Diddy and his dark past. I mean, his relationship with Cassie was shocking. She accused him of drugging her, forcing himself onto her, to say the least, and much more. And now that we've learned Cassie's story, or at least part of it because they ended up settling, a lot of us are looking back on Diddy's past and wondering who else he's done this to. So today I wanted to explore his relationship with Jennifer Lopez and understand what she went through with him, because her experience sounds a little bit different than Cassie's. First off, the pair met in 1999 when Diddy was known as Puff Daddy. He was working with Jennifer Lopez on her music video for the song If You Had My Love, and from that point on, their relationship blossomed.
He was larger than life, but at first I didn't like him at all. Sean and I were very different that way. You know, once I got to know him and, you know, we became friends first, we developed this bond.
Now remember, Diddy was dating Kim Porter, but he saw Jennifer Lopez and he saw an opportunity, so he seized it. And it was a good move for his career because people loved this relationship and they quickly forgot about Kim Porter.
Puffy Combs and Jennifer Lopez, probably one of the most glamorous couples just in history.
They understood each other. They were both famous, both busy. So he probably didn't have to explain a lot to her.
You know, she's one of the most beautiful people in the world, and I'm a pretty nice guy myself.
So Diddy and J-Lo were on the scene and people were watching them, but they were not staying out of trouble. And Jennifer must have been scared this night when they were out at a nightclub and there was a shootout. Like, oh God, I would have an anxiety attack. Diddy and J-Lo were at a nightclub called Hot Chocolate in Midtown's Club, New York, back in December 1999. They were actually celebrating the release of a rapper's new album. This rapper in particular was signed to Diddy, so it was one of, like, you know, his mentees. I mean, he was making some money off this album, so they were there to show face. But as J-Lo and Diddy were walking out of the club at like 2:20 in the morning, I guess like Diddy had a champagne bottle and he knocked someone's drink out of their hand. This person is known as Matthew Allen, also known as Scar on the streets. It ended up escalating to an argument between these two men, and I guess they were like flexing on whoever had more money, something stupid that led to them shooting out each other. Actually, 3 people in the club were injured and 1 woman was shot in the face. Ouch.
But on December 27th, 1999, the high-profile couple drew some unwanted attention. Around 11 p.m., Sean and Jennifer headed out to Club New York in Manhattan for a night of partying. Their entourage included newly signed rapper Jamal Shine Barrow and Puffy's bodyguard, Anthony Wolf Jones. According to court documents, Combs traded insults inside the club with a man named Scar. The man allegedly threw money in Puffy's face. Suddenly, a fight broke out and gunshots were fired.
Now, this woman who was shot in the face, let's not forget her. She was in stable condition at a hospital in New York. The 2 other people were shot in their shoulders. So it looks like they were just like shooting around, and one woman, like her face was probably around the range of the shoulders, which is just like really horrific. J-Lo and Diddy were out of there until the police stopped them shortly after, around 2:30 a.m. So that was a really quick interaction. The vehicle was stopped because it was fleeing the scene and because it jumped a set of red lights. So they were really trying to get out of trouble there. A gun was found lying in the car in full view. The weapon was identified as one which had been reported stolen in Georgia. And none of the people in that car had a license for a gun. Because they were all breaking the law, J-Lo included, they were arrested. I don't think J-Lo ever imagined herself behind bars, but she was for 14 hours. And supposedly she was crying a ton, sobbing uncontrollably, which honestly, I would probably be doing the same. Oh my gosh. One cop said the cops weren't impressed by J-Lo. Quote, she's a beautiful woman, no doubt about it, but she looked kind of plain Jane-ish. One cop felt compelled to tell the New York Daily. Really? These cops are like saying, oh, now that they've got a closer look, J-Lo isn't like that hot. Wow.
According to police records, Sean Combs and his girlfriend Jennifer Lopez left the scene of the shooting. They were arrested a short time later when a handgun was recovered from their vehicle. J-Lo was released based on an evaluation of the evidence, but Puffy faced charges.
Sean Combs, also known as Puff Daddy, and Anthony Jones, also known as Wolf, have been indicted today on weapons charges. The defendants are charged with criminal possession of a weapon in the second degree and third degrees for the possession of loaded 9mm gun.
So justice was working here. I mean, the system found these guys and they charged him. So whether he was super famous and powerful or not, he was going to have to appear in court. And I'm sure J-Lo was not happy to be wrapped up in this. And I'm sure her team was even more unhappy because it's not great for her reputation.
In grand jury testimony, Combs' driver accused Sean of allegedly offering him $50,000 to claim the weapon as his own. Puffy pled not guilty on all counts.
So he's claiming he's not guilty, but the problem is that there are witnesses who have come forward and they saw him firing this gun. Now, the other guy ended up getting charged and spent 9 years in prison. But let's talk about what happened to Diddy, because Diddy hired a legal team which included O.J. Simpson's attorney, and they said Jennifer Lopez is a very famous actress. To think that Diddy is walking around with her with a loaded gun is ridiculous, that it stretches the imagination. Even though there were witnesses who saw Diddy with this gun and his driver testified that like Diddy told him he would pay him off to, claim the weapon. I mean, remember now we've even learned that Cassie alleged that Diddy demanded that she carried his firearm in her purse to make her uncomfortable and to demonstrate how dangerous he was. Despite all of that evidence, Diddy was found not guilty. I mean, look at the power of this man. If I was that driver, I would flee the country. He's going to come after you now.
Combs arrived at the courthouse with his attorneys, famed lawyers Ben Braffman and Johnny Cochran. Reporters swarmed. Witnesses testified they saw both Puffy and rapper Jamal Shine Barrow fire shots inside the club. The defense argued that Shine acted alone and in self-defense. If convicted, the 31-year-old rap mogul faced 15 years behind bars. On March 16, 2001, after 3 days of deliberation, the jury announced their decision.
Puffy's verdict was read and there was 5 not guilties. I actually started to cry.
The jury did just the right thing, and I'd like to praise this jury. They were fantastic.
I just want to say I give all glory to God. I give all glory to God. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be able to walk out here to talk to y'all today. I'm just really right now, I'm just very emotional.
Combs' protege, Jamal Shine Barrow, was not as lucky. The young rapper was found guilty of assault, criminal possession of a weapon, and reckless endangerment. Shine was sentenced to 10 years in prison.
So charges were dropped for Diddy and J-Lo, and that rapper who was accused and charged with the same things that Diddy had and had the same witness testify against him spent 9 years in jail. So that shows the difference. This man who's a rapper that had no money, did the same thing that Diddy did, yet Diddy just went off free. And after this incident, a lot of people started to talk and say that their relationship was falling apart. Eventually, Diddy and J-Lo split on Valentine's Day 2001. And Diddy actually decided to change his name after this incident so that his name wasn't associated to this case, which is why we have 10 different names for Diddy. Now, before they broke up on Valentine's Day, day, they were seen out and about despite this incident happening. There was this moment where Jennifer Lopez wore a dress to the Grammys with Diddy, and Diddy even said that he knew that this dress was going to change the game. J-Lo's iconic Versace dress that she wore at the 2000s Grammys played a significant role in the creation of Google image search. The dress gained so much attention that it became the most popular search at the time. The surge in searches led to the birth of Google Images. What? I had no idea. So like literally we have Google Images because so many people were looking for this specific image. So Diddy may have been right about something because that dress did change the game, but eventually they broke apart. Every interview that Jennifer Lopez has done talking about her relationship with Diddy, she speaks very vaguely about it. And even though she's not flat out telling her side of the story when it came to him and his behavior, some people have pieced together some clues on the internet to kind of explain that he was controlling and also unfaithful.
Diddy allegedly loves to control his partners and restrict them to very serious extents. In fact, Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal, two of his former team members and some of the most vocal people when it comes to Diddy, have separately claimed that he loved having control over his ex-girlfriends.
Now, we've heard this theory before because other people have gone to court in recent months and explained to the judges that this man was controlling. He put them in compromising situations, used and abused their bodies, and put drugs into their system. So it makes me wonder, like, what part of that did J-Lo get? Did she not get any of the bad treatment because she was so famous? I mean, Cassie got it, so then why wouldn't J-Lo? It just doesn't really add up unless Diddy was completely using J-Lo just for his image.
That's how he operates. He has people followed. He has people watched. He does all kinds of he's a piece of shit.
So now we go on where Kim is at. And if she was with somebody, he made it very uncomfortable for that person to be with, using the bodyguards.
And like I said, we don't have specific stories from Jennifer Lopez, but because of Cassie, we've learned a little bit about Diddy's obsession with J-Lo. Fans speculate that Diddy treated Cassie this way because she looked like a babyface version of J-Lo. And some people assume that maybe this was his way of kind of getting back at her. Like, she looked like J-Lo and he would like subject her to what he wishes he could do to Jennifer Lopez. Like, so creepy to think about.
But when he met Cassie in 2005, he apparently became obsessed with her because she favored a young J-Lo. And there's a lot of speculation that at least part of the reason why Diddy treated Cassie the way he did was because she looked like J-Lo. And Diddy finally found someone he could have complete control over. Since Diddy couldn't publicly humiliate and destroy one woman who left him, he found another, put her in the same position, and broke her to satisfy himself. Of course, this is all speculation, but it's not like Diddy hasn't shown us time and time again what kind of person he is.
Now, you guys may think that this theory is far-fetched, but part of me kind of sees why they would think this. I mean, looking at old clips, there were moments where like Jennifer Lopez was at the peak of her career, she was doing well, she was working, and like Diddy couldn't stop her from doing what she wanted to do with her work despite feeling uncomfortable. Like Diddy once flipped out when he was told that J-Lo and Matthew McConaughey had a kissing scene in the movie Wedding Planner because he did not want to see his lady kissing another man. Even though it's work and like, you know, actors typically understand this, Diddy wanted that control.
Here. Being angry at each other very much.
What y'all shooting today?
The last scene.
Oh, that's hot. What's the last scene consist of? Of what? Ain't no kissing going on, right?
Yeah, he has a problem with stuff like that.
There better not be no kissing going on.
Not like a kiss like with tongue.
Nah.
It's not like a kiss, it's like a last moment in a thing. It's not like we kiss all the whole movie. I think it's silly, you know, kissing scenes, because I'm an actor and I know that it just doesn't mean anything and you don't care.
I mean, come on, Diddy, you're in the entertainment industry. Everyone understands how this works, and if she has a quick kissing scene with this man, it's not like they're going to be falling in love. I mean, she's not your property, even though despite he treats women and people around him as property. She has opened up about how he tried to have influence on her music as well, and she felt very controlled by this.
Puffy.
Yeah?
AKA Diddy now.
Right.
When I first met him, I was making my first album, and he gave me a lot of insight into music business. He had been in the music business a long time, and so he helped me a lot.
I mean, was there one piece of advice, one sort of phrase or thing?
Well, he did say one thing to me that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I remember I had recorded this. It was for my first album. I was recording music. I was recording a song, and I played it for him. And I was like, "What do you think?" And he was like, "You know, I hate it." You know?
Wow.
He's like, "It's not good. It's not a hit." And I was like, "Well, I love it." You know, standing up for my music and for myself. I was like, "I love it." He goes, "Good. You could listen to it in your living room. You're the only one."
Definitely a major red flag. And I think Jennifer Lopez held on to that moment because she realized he was not meant for her. And she's also shared that she never caught him cheating, but she just knew that he was. She actually claims that while they were together, she was very unhappy, which makes me like question what else he was doing. She said, quote, "I was totally crying crazy, going nuts. It really sent me, my whole life, into a tailspin."
In fact, Diddy was reportedly cheating on her during their entire relationship. Diddy had an on-again, off-again thing going on with Kim Porter, and that overlapped his relationship with J.Lo.
Now, this is something we've talked about in my video about Kim Porter, which, rest in peace, Diddy. One day we will learn the truth on that. But yeah, their relationship overlapped, and like, I think looking at the dynamic, I just really can't get away from the thought that maybe like Diddy used Jennifer Lopez for his image and for publicity, and then at the same time he was going and hooking up with Kim Porter but not claiming her because it really gave him no benefit at all.
You know, Jennifer, she's definitely a bad chick, but I was still in love with Kim, you know what I'm saying? So I couldn't marry Jennifer if I was still in love with Kim.
Now, we've learned anything from these lawsuits and stories about Diddy is that he's just not faithful. I don't think there's like one person he's been faithful to. And it wasn't just like Kim Porter who he was sleeping with. His bodyguards, which I don't know what kind of NDAs that he had them sign or what, because a lot of his bodyguards have spoken out, but they've shared that it wasn't just Kim Porter that he was cheating on J.Lo with, which is like sad that like J.Lo just wasn't enough, but it's also like a sign that like this man's like kind of a monster. I mean, if he's R-wording and like taking advantage of women the way that he's been accused of in these lawsuits, I mean, it's not even like cheating. He's like committing crimes while being unfaithful.
I told a story about, you know, a female giving Puffy fellatio while Jennifer Lopez was upstairs.
Yeah, I said that on one of my programs. Jennifer had just gave him this hell of a day. I mean, like, we went to the Miami Hurricanes game, and he gave him a party at 321. She rented a club, gave him a party, gave him this big backyard party, dinner and everything like that. Jennifer went upstairs, and Puff said, "Yo, Gene, watch the door. Don't let nobody come through the door." And I said, "All right." And Slam set it up. And I wanted to say it was Korean, but I'm not sure it was her. But it was supposed to be somebody that was either up to her level in fellatios, or it was her. And while Jennifer was upstairs, he was down there getting a fellatio from her.
So even though Diddy was cheating on her and going out to the press saying that she like wasn't, I guess, his person compared to Kim Porter, he was still trying to pursue her behind the scenes, which I think also adds to the like theory that he's got this obsession that bled into like Cassie and like what she had gone through. I mean, J.Lo even shared that at one point he sent like 100 doves to her, but you know, Jennifer has enough power in the industry that she was really able to kind of avoid Diddy in ways that a lot of other people weren't.
I had broken up with somebody and they were, you know, trying to talk to me, and I, you know, it was that point where you cut it off and you're not talking to the person. And I was at my house getting ready for an event, and they were like, "Look out the window, miracles happen." Like, you know, it was like that kind of thing. And I was like, so I go to the window, and they released like hundreds of doves, white doves.
Did it work? Did you go back with him?
No.
Thank God she did not get back with him. And I think that's really telling that Jennifer is pretty strong-willed, that she like did not give in to his vices. Though I had a feeling that Wendy knew exactly who she was talking about and actually asked Jennifer Lopez about Diddy specifically.
I was telling you that I could always see you getting back with Puffy in a little way.
J.Lo pointed at the audience and said, "Look it." When the camera panned to the audience, you could see the reaction of someone sitting in the audience who knows J.Lo all too well. It was J.Lo's mom.
Or in my mind.
I mean, if Jennifer Lopez's mom is out there in the crowd saying no, then she knows something more, and she's not going to let her daughter get in that situation. Nor is Jennifer Lopez going to get involved at all, because when Cassie submitted her lawsuit, J-Lo said that she's definitely moved on and not trying to revisit it. Now, there are some questions surrounding the fact that maybe Jennifer had sent support to Cassie, and if her case went to court, those like messages from Jennifer would be made public. But Jennifer wrote in her book in 2014, "I've never gotten a black eye or a busted lip, but I've felt abused in one way or another, mentally, emotionally, verbally. I know what it feels like for your soul to be diminished by the way your loved one is treating you."
A lot of people are now saying J-Lo should speak out on Diddy and what she went through with him. But honestly, I don't think that's going to happen because J-Lo has 2 kids and then a whole blended family with Ben Affleck. So she probably wants to stay as far away from Diddy's mess as humanly possible. One fan said, "J-Lo, speak your truth. Speak what you know. Support Cassie even if Diddy wasn't abusive to you. No comment will not be sufficient. Be on the right side of history." But someone else wrote, "If Jennifer Lopez speaks out against Diddy, that's great. If she doesn't, that is no one's business to comment on. No one but them knows what she's been through with that man, and she doesn't owe anyone a damn thing. Leave J-Lo alone."
Now, I have to say, I do respect Jennifer if she does want to stay silent on it, but it is just unfortunate that this man doesn't have any like repercussions for what he has done to these people. And it does seem like he's been obsessed with Jennifer Lopez for years. He's gone to her Las Vegas residency, he's been in the picture, and one source even said that he is still very much like kind of like in love with Jennifer. It was one of his like all-time loves in his life, but clearly Jennifer does not have the same feelings for him. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you in a new video soon. If you have any video ideas for me, here's my email. Send me some ideas, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.